Right now, I want to talk to a dear friend, a warrior himself, who's a community activist who has been a sitting judge at the D.C. Superior Court for the last 16 years. Now he is a senior judge, semi-retired. He sits down as a senior judge at the D.C. Superior Court. A guy who's been out in the community, know what it's all about out there, and cares about all people, not only his people, but all people, and he's proved that time and time again. Someone want to ask me. I once asked Muhammad Ali, give me a definition of a friend. And I say, because people are always hanging on you, champ, and I know you've heard me say this before, but the champ's definition was how a friend is someone who's always doing something for you and expecting nothing in return. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my friend to Inside Sports, who's no stranger here, D.C. Superior Court Judge Luke C. Moore. How you doing, Judge Moore?
Oh, Mr. Bell, my good friend, Mr. Harold Bell, you know it's always a pleasure for me to be with you because we have an enduring friendship, and it dates back many, many years when you and I walked these streets, and what you have done as a community activist yourself, and you are still in the fight. You are part of the struggle, and you've always been and always will be. So it's always a pleasure for me to be with you.
Talk about the impact and the loss of Thurgood Marshall from the Supreme Court bench. And you know, right now we're going through a phase where the president is about to veto the Civil Rights Act. And of course, Thurgood Marshall has been a fighter and a warrior all his life. Definitely he cannot be replaced. But tell us about the kind of impact that this loss will cause our community and our country.
This is a tremendous loss. It's a tremendous loss to all of us, black and white and all ethnics. It doesn't matter who you are and what your race is, because this man was a towering figure and a symbol of fairness and justice. You know, his voice at the highest court in our land was so important. What it meant to us is this, and what it meant to people who feel themselves victimized. You see, many people have reservations about the justice system. Some people don't think that it's fair, and it's important to have a person like Thurgood Marshall and other persons sitting on benches. On a court bench, and it's certainly at the highest level, at our highest court, who can be a symbol of fairness. And when people look at him, when underprivileged people, when black people, when African Americans, when white people who feel that their rights have been trampled on, when they can look and see a Justice Marshall and a Justice Brennan on the bench, they feel that their causes will be heard. And as you know, Harold, as many times as you and I are Luke and Harold, you know, you and I have been together for so many times, you know, sometimes it's not so much what is being done, it's the appearance. And it's important for people to feel that there is an appearance of justice. Because, you know, a person can come into a courtroom, Harold. If that person goes out of a courtroom feeling that he hasn't received justice, the system loses. That person has a sour taste. That person, you know, he gets disappointed and disenchanted with the system. He said, the system doesn't mean much to me. Doesn't mean anything to me. And so when you have a Thurgood Marshall sitting at the highest court, that person, or persons like all of us, can feel that that man is there. He's going to fight our cause, even if he's in the minority, even if he's just a dissenting vote. Our cause will be heard. And that's the important thing of having a person like him. And it's a loss for we just can't even calculate that loss. Here's a man who himself was a victim of discrimination, who helped to fight discrimination as an outstanding lawyer for the Legal Defense, NAACP Legal Defense Fund, won 40 or more cases before the court, before the highest court, on which he came later to sit. No one can state that they have that kind of record. He was one of a kind. He was unique in that regard, but most important, he was a symbol of fairness. And when you lose symbols, Harold, that's important to people. When people all over the country can look up and say, I got Mr. Thurgood Marshall. Mr. Justice Marshall is going to be there, and he is going to make certain that I get a fair hearing, that my matter is heard, and when it's heard, that it's going to be heard properly, even if the person doesn't win. And so we lose that. But hopefully, there is another Thurgood Marshall lurking somewhere out there in the legal community, Harold. And we don't need to despair. We can't hold up our hands and despair. We have to ask the president, I'm sure he will, to look around, in the legal community. There are some persons, you won't find another Thurgood Marshall, but there's certainly some persons out there who are sensitive to the causes of others, who will be objective, they'll be fair, but they will make certain that people, little people, that ethnic groups, black people, the people in the West Virginia hinterlands and out in the hills, that those people, the women, that they feel that their rights are being heard at the highest court level.
Right. We're talking to Judge Luke Moore, senior judge at the D.C. Superior Court, and talking, of course, about the loss of two great lawyers, people who fought and put their lives on the line. Of course, Herb Reed and, of course, Justice Thurgood Marshall. One of the things that reporters asked Thurgood Marshall in the press conference yesterday about somebody replacing him, should there be another black, I think his answer was, just find somebody who's qualified. I think what he really was saying, Luke, find somebody who's sensitive to the issues of minorities and the man on the lower of the totem pole.
The key word, you gave the operative term, as you always do. That's the word. A person who is sensitive, a person who understands the issues, a person who is willing to take a stand on what some persons call controversial issues. They're not really controversial at all. They're really human issues. And persons who are willing to take a strong stand on them and be fair about it. And this is what he was saying, and I believe that person is out there. I believe that there are some persons out there who can do that. They may not be another Thurgood Marshall as such, because he was unique. He was unique in and given his own background and how he had struggled and fought, and then having the opportunity to represent the NAACP Legal Defense Fund before the court on which he later came to sit himself. That's a unique path. You can't find that again. But there are persons out there who are sensitive to the various causes that come to that court. And when the Supreme Court speaks, it speaks not just for the litigants that are before it. It speaks for the nation. It sets policy, legal policy for the nation. That's what that court does, and that's why it's so important to have sensitive persons on the court, and I believe the president is aware of that.
Well, Luke, it's so important to have sensitive people like you in our community, and you have had great impact, and I just want to say it's been my honor to be a friend of yours, and I want to say keep on doing the great things that you've been doing in the community, and we here at WST love you, and the community love you, and it's people like you, too, have had an impact. So, Luke, thanks for taking time out to be here on Inside Sports, and looking forward to having you here again.
Well, I'm always ready to come on your program at any time, because if there's one person who has done something in this community and has always given his all to this community wherever he is, and in the media, and that's important. You are our voice in the media, and you have always done that, and we love you for it, Harold, and always will, and our friendship will always continue.
All right. Thank you very much, Judge Luke Moore.
All right.
Bye-bye.